Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to make a DIY ring light. It costs under $20. It took about a half hour, 45 minutes to make, and it's super effective. It's the only lighting that I'm using right now to light myself, and you can see how bright and great that this video looks. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to unplug it and show you guys what it looks like if I don't have the ring light on. So this is my video without the ring light. And as you guys can see, it makes a huge difference. I'm super thrilled with how this turned out and how well it works. So without further ado, let's get right into the DIY. So the first thing that we want to do is lay our wreath frame on our cardboard, and then we are just going to trace around that with a Sharpie so that we have an outline of it, and then you are going to cut that out. Now with that cutout part, we've just ripped off strips of aluminum foil, and we are going to put those shiny side up. We're going to wrap them all around the wreath frame and make sure that there's no gaps in between them so that the whole thing is covered in the foil. This really just helps reflect the light back towards you so that it's not dissipating from the back of the wreath frame, and it gives you the most light possible towards your face instead of losing some of that to the wall or wherever you're hanging your light. So we're just going to finish that up, put on the last piece here. And there we go. Now we are going to start attaching our lights to our wreath frame. And to do this, the first thing you want to do is just pop the end of the lights that plug into the plug for the outlet. Pop that through to the back and leave a little bit of a tail so that it could hang through. And then just zip tie it in place. And when I was doing my zip ties, I made sure that these ones around the back edge, I made sure that they all went in towards the center of the wreath so that I didn't have any of those sharp edges sticking out. And I'm just going to put one in the middle of every section all the way around this wreath. And I do this for all the rows, but I don't show it because once you get the idea of doing a few of them, you get the hang of it for the whole thing. So just turn these in so that they face towards the middle of the wreath so that when you cut them, they're not sharp and pointy. And here we have the finished product. These ones on the inside, I put the zip ties facing towards the outside of the wreath because, again, I didn't want those sharp edges sticking out. So I made sure that all my edges turned so that they would be on the underside of the wreath instead of sticking out in the middle or on the edge. And then I also tucked this other end back through to the back, and this was really difficult to do because it was huge and wouldn't go through. It took me forever to get it through, but I finally got it. And then I just secured that one down with some zip ties too. I put one on the middle like you can see me doing here, and then in a second I'm gonna flip it over and I take a zip tie and stick it under the middle two. There were 4 rings on my thing, so I stuck it under the middle 2 and then zip tied that end with the head kind of a thing on it. I zip tied that right into the middle of my wreath so that it was as flat to the back of it as possible. And then you just cut off all of the excess from the zip ties. And I'm just using wire cutters, but you could use wire cutters or a knife or scissors or whatever you have. So this is what that looks like once everything is trimmed and done. And now we are going to attach the light to our foil frame. And what I did for this was I went over top of that first little bar on my wreath frame and then underneath everything around the back and then just zip tied it. So I never went over top of the lights. I went under that first light between that and the little green bar, and then I went underneath every other everything else came out around the back and zip tied the whole thing. And I did that all the way around. I did one zip tie in the middle of every section on my wreath frame, and I think mine had 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, like and subscribe.